Hey, I'm Lord Surtur, and this is the Caldari Navy Hookbill. So this ship is fantastic in running tier 1 calm, dark and exotic filaments. The bonuses are amazing on this ship. So behind me I have the two fits, like this fit right here. That's only suited for, that's the light missile fit suited for exotic and dark calm abyssals. Now this other one is only suited for dark abyssals. So light missiles do dark and exotic. Rockets only dark. You need to abuse the speed mechanic there. And the fact that everything comes much closer. So calm abyss gives for a frigate about 5.3 million average loot. And I would suggest, unless you have certain thresholds of skills or good alpha, if good alpha skills, you can use this on an omega, you can use this on an alpha. But alpha needs good skills. So you do have the 25% bonus to kinetic light missile and rocket damage. What that means is, if you're in an exotic, don't bother switching, fire kinetic, fire scourge at all times. If you're in a dark, it does pay to switch, so that's why there are different ammos in the loadout. So essentially, for dark, you fire kinetic by default. That's the bonus, that's your highest damage. Sancha, you switch to EM Mjolnir missiles, and Trig and drones, you use Novas, explosive. Drones also Novas. It's an absolutely tiny increase. It is tiny, but it exists. It's a couple DPS. It really, but it can matter. Also, don't be afraid to overheat. Yes, as an alpha, specifically as an alpha, you need to overheat here and there. So the skills required to fly this well, I would say, is you want around 7 minutes of capacitor. You also want max alpha fitting skills, because these fits are pushing it. And you want very good alpha and essentially light missile and rocket skills. So I would suggest rocket or light missile specialization 2, if not 3. 3 is the maximum alpha can get. So for light missiles, I would say 120 plus sheet DPS, like in your fitting window. You also need good shield skills. I'm not sure you need absolute max, but it helps. Thermodynamics 4 is almost like the most important skill. You want to overheat, and you want to be able to overheat long enough. Overheating saves lives. So I'm going to get into a Omega versus Alpha comparison here. I'm going to compare both of the skill sets next to each other, like the stats of the fit. So we have the Omega Caldari Navy Hookbill for dark and exotics with the light missile fit on the left, and we've got the Alpha version of the light missile Hookbill on the right. Both the stats are visible, so I'll go over them really quickly. The Omega version essentially gets 53 kilometers of maximum flight range with a DPS of 162 DPS for the light missiles for the Scourge Furies. In exotic you don't need to switch, in dark it depends a little bit. So 163 DPS, capacitor is cap stable for the Omega version, resists are looking pretty good, EM is your weakness. So I've got 56 targeting range, that's a little bit more than the missiles. Flying 1117 meters a second. And yeah, that's about it. Like CPU, power grid, you can see that both of those values are exactly the same between the Alpha and the Omega. So you will be able to fit your stuff properly. Both fits are the exact same, the stats are different. So the Alpha one with the same things, with the same Fury missiles, gets 37 kilometers of maximum flight range and 129 DPS. So with your alpha, you want to have at least 120 with the light missiles. If you don't have that one, don't enter, or well, there are certain rooms that will kill you. And even then, always remember, thermodynamics is a lifesaver. Overheating saves lives. Believe me, I have done extensive testing, it saved me so many times. So essentially you have like the resistance profile is the same between alpha and omega. The differences are really low. So 51.7 targeting range, still pretty good. 1021 meters a second, it's a little bit slower. And essentially, yeah, both ships cost around 24 million, a little bit more depending on which ammo you load. And yeah, that's about it. You're essentially using a guidance enhancer and a ballistic control system on this one, because you do want your range and your application. Also, if you're just going to use it in dark, this will come in handy. And if you go over to the dark abyssal rocket version, then we have these stats. With Scourge Rage rockets, you can see the Omega gets about 263 DPS, but that is at a range of only 13 kilometers. So this only works in the dark. The fit is nearly identical. The main difference is the rockets and the fact that we went for a small shield extender 2 instead of a faction. And that I had to downgrade the clarity ward, the small shield booster to a small clarity ward instead of a Deck 2 one. In the low slots, we've got a ballistic control system 2 and a crosslink compact ballistic control system for really boosting that DPS. This thing wants to kill it fast. So the alpha version gets about 8.8 kilometers of maximum flight range with your Rage rockets, which is really close, and about 208.5 DPS output with them. Now, they're both cap stable. Another thing to note is that when you switch to the, let's say, the Javelin rockets on both of them, which you will have to use at some point, and I use Javelin and not Faction because Javelin is long range and is better against small targets, essentially, but it does lower DPS. So I only use this when I really need to kite or I die, like with the Tessera battlecruisers, for example. So this gets 152 DPS with a 23 kilometer flight range on my Omega. On the Alpha character, I get about 16 kilometers of flight range, so a lot less, and 120.7 DPS. But when you're using these, the super high DPS doesn't really matter that much as being at range does. So if you have the Tessera in the dark, I would really try to stay outside of 10 kilometers. So 16 kilometers is enough to kill this. So both fits work, they have been very thoroughly tested. I'm gonna show a few runs with these things, with both the light missiles and the dark ones. I'm gonna select a few rooms and quickly show them, so there is some practical evidence. There are also certain rooms you need to do a certain way, but you will learn that quickly. This is one of the rooms where you want to DPS if you fire light missiles. This room, because Just turn it on the time. Go full speed, the Damavik will follow. It will keep up, go very fast, the Kimura will probably lag behind. So kill the Damavik isolated unit first, so that the Kimura cannot hit you enough, and essentially it will not have to take the as it goes for it. And then if you do the enemy Kimura because it is it is something that ends up and it will do damage. It is one of the dangerous rooms in here. And for that, explosive rockets, and if you're using light missiles in the dark, stick to kinetic, stick to Scourge. Don't ever go out of it. I did test it versus Sunshine as well. Still, the bonus for kinetic will pull you through by a tiny fraction. It is still there. Of course, with rockets, you have more DPS, but you cannot guide as well. With light missiles, you have the very easy ability to dictate the range and guide. Likely if your target is moving or orbiting that they will not work. Average loot for the entire abyssal tier 1 color is about 500. You don't spend that long in one run anyway, so it's good as well. Explosive for drone runes. Surprisingly, drone runes actually want explosive. It's a little bit better than your kinetic. Shark really shouldn't hit So let's go with the light missile hookbill into an exotic filament, and funny enough, we have the exact same room I had in the previous one. This is the one you want to beat, like one of the rooms you want to beat. Just power through it. Now here I have the advantage of having long range, so I can just kite around, kill them from far away. Of course, light missiles do lower damage, but they do make up for that in range and ability to kite and stay out of harm's way. Kill it from far away, even though these things are just as fast as I am. That's besides the point. Now, if you get an angel room, angels are known as frigate killers. If you get an angel room with a Cinnaball in it, overheat and kill the Cinnaball as soon as possible, as fast as possible. Or you kill the Cinnaball, or the Cinnaball kills you. So get rid of it. ASAP, overheat, give it everything you have. Once the Cinnaball is down, the room is easier, much easier. And for Sancha, well, there's a lot of, if you get hunters, like those little hunter frigates, same thing applies. Kite, overheat, give it everything you got. They do really big damage. And for an alpha character, it's gonna be painful. There's one other room that was surprisingly difficult on my alpha character. That was the double skybreaker room. Not because of the damage they were doing, but because of the sheer time it took me to punch through their shield, essentially. That's why another reason why I would definitely suggest 120 plus on your light missiles. Now I am in an exotic now, as is seen by this exotic particle storm right here. That means that I'm only gonna do one damage type. As you can see in my inventory, I only have one type of missile, and that's all I'm ever gonna need. If I were to fly this one into a dark, I would bring the Mjolnir and the Novas as well. But in exotics, just a stack of Scourge Fury lights will do. Don't need to switch, not even for Sancha. Okay, the difference is small, but you still do more. Oh shit, yep, okay, all hands on deck. Here we have it. This is... nope, wrong target. Yeah, I have a bad habit. I always panic a little bit when I see angels, because I have... okay, I killed it in 2 volleys. Wow. That was unexpected. I fly a lot of multi-boxing hawks, and angels is the moment when you need to pull out everything. And when you're multi-boxing, I'm not the elite pilot, but you need to do a lot of things at once, and it all needs to be done really quickly. So angels in frigates, danger. The reason I'm surviving so well here is simply range. If I was a rocket ship, I would have more problems in this room. If you get this room as an alpha, just overheat. Bring that out, just overheat. If it's the first or second room, you can repair your overheating damage between the rooms, it's not a problem. Always reload before you jump, always repair your overheating damage before you jump. And very important, I didn't mention it before, but I should probably mention this. Watch the damage on your modules when you're overheating. You do not want it to hit 100% and burn out your modules, because when you burn out your modules you can no longer use them. And if you were to burn out your missile launchers, you better hope everything's dead, because if not, you are. You cannot do any DPS with burned out launchers, or boost shield with the shield booster that's burned out, so beware. Pay really close attention to it. That's also why I want level 4, because then you can overheat many more cycles and it takes a long time to burn out modules. Also, not everything takes the same overheating damage. Your missile launchers will burn out faster. It's just something you gotta get used to or learn. In the Abyss, overheating is a normal thing, in PvP also, so it will be used. But in exotics, of course, my sheet damage is the same, but kinetic resistance is debuffed here, so this is a minus 30% room. It does mean that I do more damage in here, and that's the reason you don't really switch from Scourge missiles in here, only in exotic. I personally really like the light missile fit. It gives you very easy control of engagements. You can dictate the range. I mean, you're just kiting around while killing everything in the room. Whereas with rockets, you have to go close, so rockets do not work in exotic filaments, not for the hookbill. And when you see the origin gate, like this big triangular one without intersections here, this big open space in the center, that is the end. This will bring you back, this will put you on the spot where you entered. And that was it. That's the Caldari Navy Hookbill. So we've got, just to summarize, we've got the light missile fit, the light missile Caldari Navy Hookbill for dark and exotic calm abyss. You can do tranquil as well, of course. You can do tier 0, you can do tier 1, depending on skills. If you don't have the 120 light missile DPS or enough rocket DPS, or your shield skills are terrible as an alpha, stick to tier 0 until your skills get to the point where you can handle tier 1 properly, because you don't control which rooms you get, and if you get unlucky, well, you won't come out. So for dark, you do have the option to go rockets, but I would only do it with good skills. Rockets, in my eyes, require better skills than the light missiles. And that's it from me, so I will be back with more videos and more guides soon, so please like and subscribe if you like the content, and stay tuned for more. I also stream on Twitch, but everything is in the comments or the description down below.